I only remember the sound. It was a thunderous roar, flames leaping and crackling like laughter from a beast unleashed. Everything around me was a maelstrom of chaos, metal shrieking, sharp edges twisting, and the acrid, biting stench of burning oil hung thick in the air. I felt the heat, an unrelenting grasp, wrapping around me like a fiery shroud that stole my breath. Panic swelled inside my chest, each heartbeat a desperate plea for escape, for light. Suddenly, everything shifted. The ground trembled beneath me, a violent shudder that sent me crashing into a wall of twisted steel. The impact shot pain through my body, a jarring reminder of my mortality. I was lost in confusion, isolated in a sea of chaos. Sounds collided, the creaking groans of metal bending to destruction, distant shouts piercing through the dark, an eerie siren of impending doom echoing in the background. My body ached, bruises blossoming with every movement, yet I barely felt it. I fought for air, sharp breaths clawing at my throat, desperate to pull in something, anything that would anchor me to life. The noise enveloped me, a cacophony that left no space for thought, for reason. All I could do was instinctively shift to dodge the fiery debris, to survive. Amidst it all, moments flickered by in ragged fragments. The intense heat licked at the edges of my skin, wrapping around me like the arms of a desperate lover. I was lost and found, drifting between the grip of the inferno and the whispers of despair that floated through the wreckage. Then I heard it, a sudden snap, a sound so final it silenced everything. It sent a chill through me, a primal dread that threaded through my very core. And just like that, the world erupted, metal screamed, shouting and clattering, but all I could grasp was the sensation of volatility inching closer. In that moment, I thought of home, the place where laughter lingered, where love wrapped around me like a warm embrace. But that thought shattered against the reality unfolding. I felt myself suspended, as if time had paused amidst the chaos. The world felt eternally vast, chaotic, and terrifying. Yet, as I was caught in that moment, there was a peculiar stillness in the air, like a storm holding its breath. Then, white light engulfed me, a blinding flash that split through the darkness, sound dissipating, the heat fading away. Everything I knew converged into a singularity, a fleeting memory orbiting within the void. I was free, yet I was not. I drifted into silence, an unspeakable darkness that wrapped around me like a shroud, swallowing me whole, waiting for whatever lay beyond. In that frozen emptiness, despair and freedom intertwined, leaving only echoes hanging in the air like forgotten whispers, warning of what had come before. I floated there, suspended in the quiet darkness, confusion crawling through the crevices of my consciousness. I felt neither fear nor pain. Instead, there was an unsettling emptiness that enveloped me, a profound absence of everything I once knew. Gradually, clarity found me like a long-lost companion. I was no longer just the current of memory. I was Alex, a name echoing softly against the silence, a flicker of identity returning from the depths. I was a proud rig worker, a cog in the vast rattling machine of the North Sea oil fields. I remember the camaraderie that anchored us. Friends shared laughter over steaming cups of coffee in the flickering light of the break room, the unshakable bonds forged beneath the weight of our jobs. We joked about the dangers, dismissing them like an offhand comment, all too human, too fallible. Nothing bad happens to us, we'd say, convinced that such joviality could shield us from fate. In those last moments of sameness, the warmth of the sun streaming through our eyes, I was engulfed in the routine of complacency. I remember all the little things, the way the coffee pot hissed as it brewed, the clinks of metal against metal as tools were laid out for another day's labor, that familiar scent of oil and sweat that clung to the air. Then there was the not-so-subtle warning, a hushed conversation lingering like unsaid words, older colleagues exchanging glances that cut through the air, thick with something unnameable. I brushed it aside, attributing it to the burdens of their experience. They were just worried, I convinced myself. We always push through, I had said, that naive optimism coloring my judgment. How could I have known that day would unravel in ways I'd never fathomed? As I hovered beyond the realm of life, I was struck by the gravity of survivor's guilt. Flickers of memories flooded through me, moments forgotten in the rush of the mundane. I could see their faces. Henry with his bright laugh, his spirit unyielding despite the wear of hard work. Rita, her encouragement lingering like sunshine in the air, urging us to work smarter, not harder. And Tom, always so calm, his wisdom a guiding light against the looming shadows. I thought of my family, too, of the promise made over dinner, laughter ringing like bells amid the clattering of forks and knives. I'll always find my way back home, I'd vowed, each word a silent tether tying me to a life full of meaning. My mother's gentle face smiled back at me, her eyes dancing with pride for the son she raised, unaware that her laughter would soon become an echo in the distance. I never wanted to leave them. I was just another worker, thought of as expendable by the industry that thrived on us. Were we not all just passing shadows in a world consumed by greed? The whispers of my past became louder, reverberating through the void, urging me to reflect on the weight of decisions, the fragility of existence, tethered precariously to the choices we made. As memories unfurled like autumn leaves, I began to understand the world continued to mourn. Its depths were heavy with untold tales, secrets that would echo into eternity. I clung to the weight of their recollections, my heart heavy with longing and regret. Suddenly, clarity blossomed, breaking through the fog of disorientation. I had crossed into a realm of dusk, where time flowed differently, swirling into memories that refused to fade. I felt the stirrings of unresolved emotions urging me forward, like a ghost still attached to the boundaries of the living. I was Alex, the bearer of grief and light, a spirit observing the fragments of what once was, the weight of my existence carving into the fibers of eternity. With every thought, I was reminded of the compass gifted to me by my mentor, a symbol of direction amidst the storm, my talisman from a life well lived but abruptly interrupted. It wasn't just an object, it was a promise, a means to navigate the tumultuous waters of life and death. As I began to drift amidst the echoes of the past, I understood this narrative was not merely my own. Those memories intertwined with others held captive by time, lingering in the shadows of despair. Each flicker sparked into realization. Life was a tapestry woven from choices, each thread significant, reminding us of the delicate balance we tread. In the silence that followed, I found a wellspring of clarity and purpose. I grasped the notion that the story did not end with me. It continued through the hearts of those I left behind. I yearned for them to know I was still with them, transcending the limits of existence. I was bound to the compass, my lifeline to the truth, a truth waiting to be unearthed. As I drifted ever deeper into the abyss, I was determined to uncover the secrets still hidden within both memory and object alike, knowing that however far I may now float from the earthly realm, I would always hold the essence of who I was within me. In that lingering silence, I was no longer just an echo. I was becoming a whisper, a voice threading through the fabric of time, beckoning for understanding, for recognition, and for reunification. The narrative of my life was still being written, waiting for the day to break through once more. The days before the accident unfolded like any other. I can still remember the crisp morning air, a refreshing bite against my cheeks as I made my way to the rig. The sun peeked over the horizon, painting the sky in soft hues of pink and gold. I loved these moments. In those fleeting seconds, I felt infinite, as if I were at the center of a grand story, each day a new chapter to be written. I had my routine, the morning ritual of brewed coffee, its aroma wrapping around me like a comforting embrace. I cherished those early hours spent with my colleagues, sharing laughter over steaming mugs, blurring the boundaries between work and friendship. We exchanged stories seasoned with dreams and longing, laughter cascading around us like music. Yet there was a heaviness in the air, an unnameable tension humming just beneath the surface. "Look sharp today, lads," Tom had said, his voice gruff yet warm. "There's talk of a storm brewing out there." He gestured to the weathered charts plastered on the break room wall, but we only shrugged it off, too busy in the fortitude of youth, too naive to understand that a storm could be more than just the weather. I remember chuckling, nudging my friends. "Tom's just trying to frighten us. We've weathered worse." But a whisper of foreboding clung to me like the salt from the sea, insisting I should pay more attention. That morning, I had sensed it in the older crew members' wary glances, the way they exchanged hushed words, their lines wearier, faces shadowed by years of hard labor. It felt as if they were caught in an unspoken dance, knowing more than they allowed themselves to reveal to us, their anxious youth. I brushed it aside. Routine carried me on, drawing me into the machinery of our daily lives. I felt the buzzing vibrations of machines, the rhythmic clank of metal echoing around me, a lullaby of sorts that had become my existence. I was a part of something larger, a collective striving against the odds, a team bonded by the chaos of our work. Fate, however, has a cruel sense of timing. The afternoon hummed along like always, men toiling against the backdrop of the endless sea, our laughter stark against the blue horizon. I felt grounded, part of a foundation built on grit and determination. Yet, lurking above, the sky began to shift, clouds rolling in thick and gray, resembling shadows cast against our newfound vibrancy. "Did you hear that?" whispered Rita, her eyes widening as she paused in her task. The air seemed to crackle with anticipation. Some primal instinct flickered within me, urging me to pay heed. A strange noise had seeped into the rhythm of our labor, a low rumble beneath the surface. I shrugged it off, attributing it to the rig's groans, unwilling to acknowledge that something felt off. We moved forward, focused on our duties, pretending the weight of impending doom did not hang above like a sinister storm cloud. My heart thudded heavily in my chest, while I forced myself to laugh, to bury the anxiety creeping in, each heartbeat a reminder to remain grounded. I felt it then, a shiver skirting along my spine, an instinct gnawing at me, tugging at the edges of my mind. As I walked back to my station, I spotted an older crew member shaking his head, eyes distant, veins etched with memories of things we could not comprehend. He glanced at me with a knowing familiarity. "Be careful, lad," he murmured, a hint of finality in his tone. But what is caution when youth is wrapped in armor of invincibility? The day carried on, shrouded in routine, illusion masking reality. Laughter erupted, the sounds of machinery rang, but something deep inside me began to fray. It was as if I was suspended, dangerously teetering on the brink of a precipice. I sensed threads of fate weaving through our experiences, not just my own, but those of my comrades intertwined around me, each choice resonating like ripples across the surface of a pond. That very night, I lay in my bunk replaying the day in my mind, shadows playing tricks against the walls, caressing memories with gentle hands while whispering a warning I had dismissed. I slept fitfully, visions clashing against my dreams like furious waves. The looming specter of foreboding slid into reality, my intuition laced with dread as if the universe itself held its breath. I awoke in a cold sweat, my heart racing against the clamoring silence, but finally feeling the icy touch of apprehension settle into my bones. It was time to heed the whispers in my heart, to recognize what was often ignored in the mundane. But blinding sunlight beckoned me again, and weighed down by the duty of routine, I slipped into motion like a puppet guided by invisible strings. The weight of what awaited hung silently in the air, lurking beyond the threshold of acknowledgement, as I tiptoed closer to the edge of fate, unaware of the tempest brewing above the horizon. Little did I know, the ordinary moments were the very threads of my destiny, weaving a tale I had yet to fully comprehend. My laughter, my warmth, my comrades surrounding me, all coupled with the mounting silence unfurling like a wave rising behind us, cresting until the world would soon tip into chaos. We were mere actors on a stage, unaware of the curtain falling, binding us to answers we could never seek. Days later, the calm before the storm had returned, yet a single worry gnawed at the back of my mind, an artifact of the past, a fragile connection to something once precious. It was a tattered compass that belonged to my late mentor, grizzled and wise, who had gifted it to me when I first stepped onto the rig. "Remember, lad," he had said, eyes glinting with unspoken truths, "this compass doesn't just point north, it guides the heart." Though the chaos of the work week had swept me under like an undertow, I felt a pang of nostalgia stir as I wrapped my fingers around its cold metal casing. The tiny needle quivered, its delicate dance reminiscent of a heartbeat fighting against the weight of time. I would sometimes withdraw into moments of reflection, tracing the outline of that compass nestled deep in my pocket, a sacred talisman that connected my spirit to his wisdom, a lifeline forged in metal and memory. That night, while others reveled in the camaraderie of shared whiskey and laughter, I sat alone on the edge of the rig. The wind howled around me, caressing my skin with a chill that seeped into my bones. My thoughts drifted, tangled with emotion, the compass a silent witness to struggles not yet faced. "Do you feel that?" I murmured to it, the soft gleam of the metal reflecting the waning light of the sunset. Time felt like an out-of-tune instrument, a discordant rhythm just beyond my grasp. As I searched the horizon, I saw more than the rough waves. I saw echoes of the past shimmering in the twilight. Each crest held the murmur of a memory, fragments spiraling within the depths of my mind, begging to be freed. It was in that moment of solitude where I understood what truly mattered, connection to the present, to those moments of joy and sorrow that made me wholly alive. But life is an unpredictable force, grief a tidal wave that could crash at any instant, and soon what I dreaded most would surge upon us. It was the next day when an alarm blared through the din of the machinery, seeping into our routine like poison. My heart raced as chaos erupted, commands barked like orders from generals atop a battlefield. Everything spun around me, voices lost in the whirlwind of urgency. "Evacuate! To the lifeboats!" I stumbled forward, confusion mingling with determination. As I moved, I reached instinctively for my pocket, fingers wrapping around that cold metal compass, my lifeline, my guide. The world around me became a blur of frantic energy, my coworkers rushing past me, fear etched into their eyes. "Get to safety, Alex!" someone shouted, propelling me forward. Struggling against the press of bodies, I felt adrenaline surge through me, a force igniting me from within. I fought my way through the throng, glimpses of my comrades streaking past, their faces painted with dread, my heart pounding like a war drum against my ribs. In the edges of my vision, I caught sight of the storm rising on the horizon. Waves began to swell ominously, curling higher and higher, dark clouds gathering like soldiers marching into battle. Each crash of water against the rig felt more significant than the last, echoing loud against the tapestry of time. I knew I needed to reach the lifeboats. I needed to survive. Yet fate can be cruel. Just as I reached the edge of the deck, a terrifying shudder jolted through the structure beneath my feet. The rig began to list violently, a dark premonition echoing in my bones. Everything shifted in a surreal, almost dreamlike state as reality warped around me, nausea rising like a tidal wave. The last thing I remember was the deafening roar of the storm, the sound colliding against the bitter scream of metal as the rig groaned under the pressure of unseen forces. The compass slipped from my pocket, falling to the ground, spinning wildly as if searching for an anchor amidst the chaos. I reached for it, but the world around me tilted, engulfing me in darkness. And then, nothing. In that harrowing moment, the line between life and oblivion faded, my thoughts scattering like autumn leaves caught in the wind. I lost every sense of direction, hand reaching desperately for what once anchored me, but it vanished beyond my grasp, swallowed in the chaos. What remains is an echo, a connection lost but enduring. In the unending void, that timeless silence, I felt the remnants of those moments resurface. The laughter, the worry, the warmth of family waiting for their son to return. I ached with their absence, tears falling like silent whispers in that empty space. Each droplet was heavy with what could have been and what would never be. Time unraveled in layers, moments bleeding into one another. The sound of my mother's voice calling me home, the warmth of her embrace, the surprised delight in her laughter, teasing me from my childish fears. I could see their faces so clearly, feel their love like a palpable force radiating through the echoes of my memory, reminding me of my connection to humanity, even in this void. The compass, that tether, that guiding light we so often overlook, came to symbolize the path I left behind. In that instant of void, I understood its power, an emblem urging me to remember the breath of love intertwined in losses. The silence pressed upon me, affirming a truth I'd taken for granted. Every moment counts, and every heartbeat is woven from choices, from love that reaches beyond the shadows. And slowly, the echoes faded into the whispering wind, leaving me with a profound longing. Through it all, I would find a way back to them, a way to keep the stories alive. Bound to the compass, I understood that the heart does not cease to beat after the storm. Instead, it is your passion, your connections that weave your tale through the fabric of time, echoing long after the void consumes all else. For I may be lost for now, but the light persists, and in my spirit I will seek it until I find them once more. In the depths of that silence, I found myself floating between worlds, suspended in limbo, caught in a dance between the echoes of my life and the unsettling darkness that enveloped me. I was neither here nor there, a fleeting shadow in an expanse of time where the clock had forgotten its rhythm. Yet, in this profound quiet, I began to confront the weight of my existence. There was an understanding that began to bloom within me, a realization born from the ashes of my chaos. While I was no longer a physical entity, the remnants of my spirit were vibrant and alive. Every familiar heartbeat resonated through the stillness, whispering reminders from my past. The warmth of connection tugged at the edges of my consciousness, urging me to let go, to acknowledge the inevitable, and to seek closure. I let the memories wash over me, each wave like a gentle caress against the shores of my soul. I could see the faces of those who loved me in technicolor, my mother with her nurturing spirit, her eyes shimmering with love, my father strong and steadfast, always teaching me that strength does not only lie in the body, but within the heart. Their laughter echoed with clarity, reminiscent of the bond we once shared. But now, in the quiet turmoil of my heart, I felt an urgency, a need to reach out, to say goodbye in a way that transcended the boundaries of life and death. I had to find my final act, a gesture that might tether my spirit to those who remained. It was a longing that seemed to whisper back to me like a myriad of voices intertwining in harmony. With each passing moment, I felt a shift, a beckoning toward the unfinished chapters of my life. I knew I must honor those connections, the love I had given, the promises I had made. As I floated through the dim landscape of my memories, I found myself returning to the very thing that had anchored my heart, the compass. I envisioned it vividly now, its gleaming surface reflecting the light of all that was and all that could have been. It was time to reclaim it. It was time to craft my farewell. In the grip of determination, I reached deep into the shadows, seeking the compass that had been wrenched from me in the chaos of the accident. I imagined it resting somewhere familiar, a fragment of my world that had been stranded in the debris. Every memory tied to it surged through me, weaving lines and paths, urging me to focus. In a blink, I felt a rush, like a torrent of clarity and emotion colliding, and suddenly I perceived a scene materializing around me. There it lay amidst the wreckage, gleaming against the twisted steel and scattered debris, a beacon amidst the desolation. I grasped for it, my fingers brushing against the cold metal as the chaos of memories enclosed around me, each heartbeat echoing loudly in my mind. As I clutched the compass tightly to my heart, I felt a surge of warmth radiate through me, an undeniable tether to my past, illuminating the path ahead. As I held it close, I saw my family again. They were gathered in a familiar place, our home, laughter spilling from the cracks of familiar walls, bearing the scent of my mother's cooking wafting from the kitchen. I could hear them sharing stories, voices overlapping in a tapestry of love and warmth. I ached to be there, to touch them, to tell them everything I could never say. In that moment, I felt the weight of every word left unspoken press heavily upon my chest. My heart surged with regret for the time lost, the moments I had taken for granted. "I'm still with you," I whispered into the ether, feeling my soul pulse with longing. "I'm here. I'm alive in your hearts." And just as suddenly, I understood what I had to do. I would leave behind a message, a final act that could resonate beyond the previous veil of existence, a way to bridge the wide chasm that separated us. With the compass snug against my heart, I stilled my racing thoughts, closing my eyes and concentrating on what I wanted to convey. A scene unfolded within me, rich with clarity. I envisioned a letter, my last words etched deeply into paper, swirling with love and wisdom gathered from a life well lived. I imagined it resting upon the wooden surface of our dining table, waiting for their discovery, a whisper of my soul immortalized in ink. Dear Mom and Dad, my thoughts poured forth like a waterfall, each word punctuated with emotion. If you're reading this, know that I'm still here, not in the way you can see, but in all the invisible threads connecting us. I live in your laughter, in the stories we shared, and in the warmth of your love. With each word I formed in my mind, I felt my spirit grow lighter, the tether strengthening with conviction. I am so grateful for everything you have done for me. You taught me strength and kindness, the importance of love and friendship. I wanted to say I am sorry for the moments wasted, for not appreciating the ordinary, for not always listening to your wisdom. The emotions swirled within me, and through the echoes of that void, I felt a soft glow emerging, tethering my essence to the love that surrounded my family. Please hold on to those moments. Keep laughing, keep living, and never stop finding joy in the little things. As the last vestige of my remembrance flowed like a river from my heart into this image, a quiet acceptance wove around me. I knew the message would resonate even when I could not. It would be my final gift, a testament that love transcends all kinds of separations, time, space, life, acknowledging that while I may slip further into the light, the impressions we create last forever. With that thought echoing in my mind, a wave of serenity washed over me. I felt the soft embrace of light surrounding every inch of my being, and I surrendered to the beauty of that moment. I animate emotionally charged, tethered no longer by the remnants of loss, but buoyed by the buoyancy of love. Press the compass against the heart, my guiding point. In my spirit, I sought the path toward them as I surrendered all I once was to the echoes of love, setting free every secret, every moment, every story long forgotten. I chose to let go, to release the burdens woven from grief, as I floated into that luminosity. This was not the end, but the beginning. As my essence merged seamlessly with the warm glow, I knew that the compass would survive, that it would guide them, link us, for every step they took would still mean I walked beside them. And just like that, silence settled in, gentle and profound, offering comfort in knowing that a story lived on, just beyond the veil. In that luminous embrace, I felt myself drifting further away from the tethers of earthly life, bathed in a serene glow that enveloped my essence. It was a profound stillness, a sanctuary where time ceased to exist, and I became aware of the tapestry of my memories unfurling around me. The sensations were overwhelming, a mingling of bittersweet nostalgia and peaceful acceptance. With each heartbeat, I traversed through the corridors of my past, re-experiencing moments woven with love and laughter. I could hear the sound of my mother's soft laughter echoing through the years, feel the warmth of her embrace as she welcomed me home after a long day. These moments twisted and turned in the quiet depths of my soul, illuminating the long-forgotten corners of my heart. I was reminded of childhood's summer nights spent under starlit skies, the comforts of home, and the unwavering support of my family. Then came the pull of sadness, a stark realization of what had been lost, the days that slipped away unappreciated, the moments ignored amidst the chaos of living. I could feel their sorrow strewn throughout the ethers, a weight that echoed back to me. The ache in my chest deepened, and I felt a yearning to reach back, to comfort them through the pain of loss, to reassure them that I still existed in a way they could not see, but could always feel. As I floated through this timeless space, I began to sense the deep connection we'd always shared, unfurling like the petals of a flower in spring. My mind focused intensely on finding a way to send them a message. It grew from a flicker into a blaze. I needed them to know that love is an unbreakable bond, one that transcends death, that continues to pulse with life long after our physical presence fades. In my mind's eye, I envisioned the compass resting on the dining room table, an object once filled with the warmth of my touch and the weight of my intentions. The image drew me like a magnet, and I felt a wave of energy course through me, igniting a powerful resolve. I will use this, I promised myself. This is my bridge to them. As I concentrated, my spirit surged toward that tangible connection, pouring my essence into the compass, weaving it with the very fabric of love and memories I held dear. I envisioned my mother cradling the compass in her hands, its surface reflecting my essence, becoming a vessel for my voice, my memories, and my heart. As I focused, the air around me began to tremble. I could feel the rush of warmth radiating from where the compass lay. My essence intertwined with each whispering breeze, filling the space with echoes of love. I called forth memories, laughter, and the color of every shared moment, each drop of emotion coalescing in the form of vibrant illumination. "Mama," I whispered, my voice threading through the ether, seeking her with the gentleness of a breeze. "I'm here. I'm still with you." The words entered the hollow stillness of the night, shimmering like stardust in the air. Each breath she took mingled with mine, and I felt her gaze shift towards the compass. Her heart pulsed with recognition, and I sent forth waves of energy, memories flooding through the connection I forged. I recalled our adventures, the hikes we took, the laughter shared, and the lessons learned under the shade of the old oak tree in our backyard. Remember those times? I urged her silently. Hold on to them. Let them comfort you. I am with you in every sunrise, every laugh shared. With every memory I sent her way, tears glistened in her eyes. The compass throbbed with energy, radiating warmth throughout the room. I saw her fingers brush over its surface with reverence, as if longing to touch the past I had infused within it. "Alex, my beautiful boy," she spoke softly, her voice wrapping around me like a warm blanket. "I miss you so much. I wish I could hold you just one more time." And in that moment, I felt a surge of love flowing back at her, a reminder that I had never truly left, that my spirit lived within her, still cherishing every moment we shared. Then, from the depths of my being, I felt an overwhelming wave of comfort wash over me. I could sense her grief lightening, just a little, as if the weight of loss had begun to shift. And in turn, it lifted some of the sorrow that had clung to my heart since the accident. I wanted her to know that I would always be there, bound by love, lingering in every cherished memory. "Mama," I murmured softly through the many layers between us, "keep living, keep laughing. Every step you take, I am right there with you." As she cradled the compass to her chest, I felt my essence intertwined with hers. The connection between us pulsed and glowed, brightening the space around us. The love woven into every heartbeat that separated us was a tether that would never sever. For time, I realized, only deepened our bonds. Love was eternal, a living force reciprocated by the cosmos. The last vestige of my physicality began to fade as the light enveloped me, filling me completely. This is a new beginning, I thought, savoring that truth in my spirit. I would echo forever through her heart, through the love that transcended the veil. As I settled into that expansive light, I smiled, knowing that I had created a bridge that would live on through them. "I will always be your guide," I promised, floating warmly towards that sweet embrace of serenity. The compass would remain a symbol of our connection, a reminder that life and love continue on, unfurling like flowers in the endless cycle of existence. In that serenity, I surrendered fully, my spirit melding with the light, confident that love endured, forever weaving our stories into one. In that gentle brightness, I felt the universe shift around me, a welcoming embrace that beckoned me to re-engage with the world I once cherished. It was a profound sense of connection, a pull that awakened my energy, guiding me back to the love I had left behind. Here, I did not exist in absence, but rather in a renewed presence. I could see the compass again, glowing with warmth in my mother's hands, pulsating like the heart of our shared memories. It was more than an object. It was the embodiment of our connection, a conduit of truth and love. I felt drawn to it, a beacon linking our hearts through the vastness of existence. As my spirit ventured closer, I sensed my sister enter the room, her sadness palpable, yet there was a spark of hope within her. She hesitated at the doorway, her eyes scanning the dim light, searching for the familiar warmth of her family. "Mama," she whispered, a fragile plea that echoed through the heavy air. "I miss him." In that moment, my mother's voice wrapped around my sister like a soothing melody. "He's here with us," she said softly, cradling the compass closer to her heart. "We can feel him." Those words resonated deeply, intertwining with the fabric of love that connected us all. I wished I could stretch my arms around them, infusing their hearts with warmth, reassuring them that even in the shadows of grief, light still existed. As my sister approached, emotions spilled forth from her. Love, pain, longing, each word rich with significance. "I wish I could have told him everything," she lamented, her voice thick with unspoken sentiments. With every heartbeat, I felt their grief mingling with the glow emanating from the compass. It was a beautiful connection, a tapestry woven with shared memories. "You can tell me now," I whispered through the ether, urging her to share her heart. I poured every ounce of my essence into that moment, amplifying the love that filled the room. The compass pulsed brightly as my sister reached out, her fingers grazing its surface with reverence. "Alex," she breathed, her face lighting up as if something profound had shifted. "I can almost hear you." She smiled amidst her tears, a delicate bridge forming between our worlds. That connection felt electric, and I encouraged it. "Yes, remember the laughter, the moments. Keep me alive in your hearts." I wanted them to trust that I lingered through love, that my spirit was woven into the very fabric of their lives. Then, as if pulled by an invisible current, my mother joined in. "Do you remember when he climbed that tree to rescue the cat?" The warmth of gentle laughter spilled into the room, bathing us all in nostalgia and comfort. "Yes," my sister responded, the corners of her lips curling up into a smile through her tears. "He was so proud of those scratches." The room blossomed with laughter, an undeniable thread that united us through shared memories. I felt them pull me into their joy, and for the first time since my departure, I experienced profound relief. The love we shared transcended pain, weaving its way through the memories we crafted together. "I'm always here, always watching," I whispered softly, encouraging them to celebrate rather than mourn. "Every time you laugh, every memory you treasure brings me closer to you." As the air thickened once again with emotion, I felt their hearts open wider to receive the love I had to offer. The compass fanned the flames of those memories, radiating a soft glow that lit the room. Tears mingling with laughter, I observed them from my ethereal realm, their spirits intertwined in a dance of remembrance, a testament to the truth that love doesn't vanish, it transforms. The last residue of my physical presence began to fade like a rising mist as I surrendered to the light enveloping me. "Thank you," I whispered, flooding them with gratitude. "Thank you for keeping me alive in your stories and hearts." With that, I felt myself becoming one with the brilliance around me, confident that the essence of my journey would echo eternally through their lives. My love remained, an ever-present force, illuminating their paths even as they journeyed on. As I floated toward the infinite, peace embraced me. I had woven a legacy, an unbreakable bond of love that would guide them through life's challenges, reminding them that I was never truly gone, but always a heartbeat away. And in that realization, I surrendered completely, my spirit merging with the cosmos, forever a part of their story.